All right, Shalom. Giving all praises, glory, and honors unto Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Kakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders of the great millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. This is another edition of GMS News and Prophecy, And it says here, from the owlmonitor.com, Iran says U.S. dollar officially ditched in trade with ally Russia. All right, and this is pretty big news. Okay, several scriptures come to mind. Seeing this headline, this article, basically because the American dollar is doomed to collapse. Okay, let's see here. Now it says here above the image here in the caption, it says the Islamic Republic took the step following the Russian president's meeting with Iran's leader in Tehran, where the two explore options on how to push back on international sanctions. And that's been going on a lot between Russia and Iran and America with the war in Ukraine, with Russia, with Iran, and them supposedly or allegedly, as they say, enriching uranium, and the Iran deal for nuclear proliferation, things like that. So America and the West has been sanctioning Russia and Iran. So what they're deciding to do is to not deal with the U.S. dollar at all. And that's going to be a major blow to America, all right? Now it says Iran's economy minister Hassan Kandazi announced on July 26 that the U.S. dollar has officially been ditched in his country's trade relations with the Russian Federation. At a press briefing in Tehran, the minister said the U.S. currency has been replaced with the Russian ruble in Iran-Russia business, adding that similar plans are in the pipeline for trade with such partners as Turkey, China, and India. And these are basically the BRICS nations, all right? And BRICS is basically an economic coalition of countries, Brazil, India, China, South Africa, Russia, and they want to add other countries as well. So it's basically a new Eastern, you can say, form of the EU, okay? As the EU in the West is the European Union, which is their economic community, or what used to be the European Economic Community back in the 90s before they changed to the European Union. So these different economic coalitions are forming, and now they're ditching the U.S. dollar. It says the Russian currency has dramatically depreciated since late February when President Vladimir Putin ordered an invasion into neighboring Ukraine. The nosedive for Iran's rial has been way sharper, especially after 2018 U.S. Pullout from the Iran nuclear deal. To ease the pressure, Iran has been contemplating an array of alternatives. The country's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, has vigorously promoted his look to the East vision as a long-term strategy toward economic independence from Western powers by augmenting trade with Russia, China, and India. Okay? So a couple scriptures come to mind. Let's see if we can get a few. Let's go to the blue letter here. All right. Now, the first scripture that comes to mind is the book of Obadiah. All right. The book of Obadiah, chapter 1. Verse 6, it says, "How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? And Esau is being exposed by this truth first and foremost, and his lies being told throughout the centuries all over the world is being exposed. But even geopolitically, he's being exposed for being the devil. Okay? And these other Edomites in the east, Russia, pretty much wants nothing to do with these Western European and American Edomites and their hegemony. So now we're seeing the dollar start to fall. All right, this is verse 7. It says, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee. Now, one time Russia was at peace with West, all right, at peace with America, okay? They had the START Treaty, and they had these different trade deals and things going on, all right? They weren't a part of NATO together, but they did trade together, okay? There was a level of peace, all right? But now they don't want to deal with the monetary system. It says, the men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. And now the ones that were using the monetary system, the bread, the dough, all right, the US dollar, okay, is now hurt because Russia and Iran are ditching it, all right? And they are looking, like Iran said, to the east to do their economic trading and business with Russia, India, and China, okay, all amongst each other, all right? Another scripture that comes to mind is Zephaniah, the 1st chapter. And all these things that are happening now are, is all biblical prophecy, because like I said, eventually the monetary system of America, the US dollar, is going to collapse, it's going to downgrade, all right? And which is what really, what the elites want, okay? So they can introduce their new digital currency. But it's all falling right into really the Lord's plans, as we can read here. Zephaniah 1 and 10. And it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, that there shall be the noise of a cry from the fish gate, and an howling from the second, and a great crashing from the hills. All right, and this happened in ancient times. The collapse of these different countries, neighboring Israel, and even in Israel, all right, because a lot of the money was coming in and out through the trade by sea with the fish, going into Jerusalem and throughout the land, and going out to these other nations as well, all right. But now a crashing is coming in these modern times. Verse 11, howl ye inhabitants of Maktesh, for all the merchant people are cut down. All they that bear silver are cut off. All right. So, these financial gurus, these bankers, all right, those that deal with money, they're eventually going to get cut off. And this fact that Iran and Russia are ditching the trade of the US dollar with each other is going to be a part of that cutoff, all right? Let's see here. I believe it was a little bit more this chapter, yep. So let's jump down. This is verse 18. It says, neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath. So eventually, nothing is going to save them from the judgment of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Okay? But the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy, and this is the destruction of America. For he shall make even a speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land. So those that are not right, those that are not following the ways of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, that are not the elect of the nation of Israel, the Lord's going to make a speedy riddance of them that are in the land. All right, so these Americans are going to be destroyed, and a lot of that is going to be via Russia and Iran and these missiles that are set to launch here. Okay, so back in this article, let's see. It says, an internationally isolated Putin was in Tehran last week, sitting down with Ayatollah Khamenei, and what appeared to be a cordial conversation between the two. At the meeting, according to Iran's central bank governor Ali Saleh-Abadi, the Iranian leader was emphatic on the need for the elimination of the American dollar from Iran-Russia trade. And Putin was equally welcoming of the idea, calling for the provisions to be pursued. So it's this is a big thing. Okay, a very big thing. All right. During Putin's visit, Iranian media also reported the sealing of a $40 billion deal between Russian energy companies. On top of them, the giant Gazprom and Iran's state-owned national oil company. Under the agreement, the Russian firm will invest in developing 6 gas and oil fields in Iran's energy-rich south. And see, this is why America is going to vehemently go at Iran and Russia, because of these resources. All right. Russia has heavy oil deposits. All right. It's the biggest country in the world, although most of it is frozen. But underneath that land, pretty sure there's a lot of oil. Okay. Same thing with Iran. Under all that sand and that desert Middle Eastern geography, especially in Saudi Arabia, but even in Iran, there's a lot of oil reserves. So by them trading between each other in Russian rubles, and America is not seeing a dime or a dollar of that, because they're not trading in their currency, the West in America is going to feel some kind of way. All right, really America, okay? Because even you got certain European Western nations that want to move east and do deals with Russia, okay? So yeah, we're definitely living in heavy times, and there's nothing that America can do. This dollar is done. All right, I'm gonna get another scripture. Let's see here. Let's go to Isaiah, the 13th chapter. Okay, Isaiah 13. Isaiah chapter 13. And let's see. 17. Babylon will fall to the Medes. Well, this Babylon is talking about Babylon the Great. All right, the U.S., America, that great city. And the Medes are talking about the Russians. So like I said, America is going to be destroyed by the Russians and their allies. It says, behold, I will stir up the Medes against them. So now this is like I said, this is all the will of the Lord. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. The Lord is stirring up the Russians against America. All right, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. And they definitely don't want to deal with the American dollar anymore. Iran doesn't want to deal and trade with the American dollar anymore. Okay? So this is what we're seeing take place. Okay? There was another article here. This is from the Middle East Monitor. All right? Iran, Russia to start trading in national currencies, dropping U.S. dollar. And there's been all kinds of reports over the years of them slowly dropping their American dollar reserves as their economies start to get stronger, to actually do these types of things, okay? Years ago, there were talks of Japan and other countries not wanting to hold, the U.S. dollars in their treasury and things like that and start to dish the dollar, okay? This is really why slowly but surely we're seeing the increase in inflation over here in the States now. And hyperinflation is going to increasingly grow, okay? It says the same thing. Iran and Russia will officially begin trading in rials and rubles dropping the U.S. dollar as their common currency exchange, Tehran has announced. Iranian Minister of Economic and Financial Affairs, Hassan Kandouzi, made the announcement at a press conference today, marking a new step in economic cooperation between Moscow and Tehran, while signaling dealing yet another blow to the status of the U.S. dollar. All right, so there you go. All right. This is a blow to the U.S. dollar. All right. So I'm going to finish the scripture out. Isaiah 13:18. It says, their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces. These bows are the nuclear missiles. Okay. No trade deal in the world is going to stop the destruction of the nuclear missiles that's going to come on America. All right. It says, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. So nothing from young to old in America is going to survive, except for the elect of Israel that are going to be delivered by Yahushua. It says in verse 19, in Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. So the same way Sodom and Gomorrah were destroyed by fire from heaven, so will America. Okay? And that's it. All right? This is, more and more showing what's happening to the U.S. and how that power that it once had is waning. So with that, I'm in it there. All praises, all glory, all honors going to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rakakwadash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom.